Hey guys, welcome back to Compound and Everything. For those of you that are new here, my name is Chris and this channel is dedicated to discussing all things investing, finance and business with the goal of helping you build and grow a long-term successful portfolio. Now in this video, we're going to be covering Warren Buffett's most recent $10 billion purchase. And I mean, of course, for those of you that have been closely watching the Oracle of Omaha over the last couple of years, then you'll know what I'm talking about. However, for those of you that may not be followers of Buffett, at his annual shareholder meeting in May, he announced that he'd built up $137 billion in cash. Now, of course, in March, we saw massive market sell-offs and everybody was on the edge of their seats waiting to hear from Buffett and what he'd been buying. Well, this is what he said at the time when asked about what he's been doing with all of that cash. "We have not done anything because we don't see anything that attractive to do." Meaning that he doesn't find value even within that massive market crash that we had back then. However, since that point, it has been essentially radio silence from the Berkshire camp until today. And I mean, the man has actually gone and done it. He's finally spent some of his capital and purchased the company Dominion Energy for $10 billion. Now, for those wondering, Dominion are a natural gas supplier that controls roughly 10% of all natural gas in the United States. So what will Berkshire actually get from this deal? Well, firstly, it's you smashing that like button. If you guys do want to support this channel, it's the easiest and most effective way you can do it. So feel free to tap that bad boy until it turns blue. Anyway, so what has Berkshire actually gotten from this deal? Well, the deal would transfer more than 7,700 miles of natural gas transmission lines from Dominion to Berkshire, including about 20.8 billion cubic feet per day of transportation capacity, and then 900 billion cubic feet of operated natural gas storage, with 364 billion cubic feet of company-owned working storage capacity, plus partial ownership of liquidated natural gas export, import, and storage operations. So although that's a bit of a mouthful, what that does give Buffett is more of a control over the current supply of gas in America. So prior to this acquisition, Berkshire Hathaway Energy already carried 8% of natural gas transmissions in the United States. Now, of course, that means Buffett already had a large interest in the area. And as we all know, Buffett is famous for wanting more of what he already likes. So upon completion of this deal in the fourth quarter of 2020, Berkshire will own 18% of all natural gas supply lines in the United States. Now, of course, like I said, it's the first major purchase from Berkshire since the coronavirus pandemic and the subsequent kind of market collapse in March. I mean, so many of us were waiting for Buffett to just give that nod and say, "Okay, guys, it's time." But let me explain why I don't think this is that nod and why this news probably has no impact on the mentality of if we've found that magical sort of Buffett bottom or not yet. So firstly, this isn't really that elephant company that I think Buffett has had in mind over the last couple of years. I mean, this really only represents 7 to 8% of his current cash positions being put to work. It makes perfect sense that this is just the company that Warren Buffett wanted to acquire to expand on his current holdings in the space. Like I said before, he had 8% worth of control of the natural sort of gas supply lines in America, and now he has 18%. I mean, it really speaks for itself here. He has told us hundreds of times that if you want a small part of something, you should like all of it just as much. Now, the second reason is that I just don't think at this point in time anything has changed sort of substantially enough for Warren Buffett to see those bargains or that elephant position that he's been looking for such a long time. And I think the main reason for that is because in regards to sort of Warren Buffett's valuation method, everything is still very much expensive, especially when it comes to listed companies in the United States. Remember, Warren Buffett is the king of wanting to buy in with a margin of safety. And right now, that's a very difficult thing to do. He actually mentioned that the Fed stimulation efforts over the last couple of months have probably been preventing these types of purchases because, as we know, they've been pumping some serious money into the economy over there in the United States, which then, for the most part, kind of prevents Buffett from being able to enter those types of opportunities because those companies just don't get to those types of valuations. Now, the third and probably most obvious at this point is the current uncertainty surrounding the market. Buffett has said multiple times that he's a big fan of cash. One, because of his current obligations in the insurance space, and then because he wants to protect his shareholders. Now, that's not to say that Warren Buffett is scared of a downturn. We all know that's not the case. I mean, he was actively buying in the GFC in a sector that looked far worse than it does right now. However, I think there is one thing we've all learned about Warren Buffett is that he practices what he preaches. Nobody will force his hand and he won't be pressured into positions. His number one concern will always be protecting his shareholders. So I guess if there's anything to take away from Buffett's most recent acquisition, it would be that patience is the key in this game. Don't be scared to sit on your cash, but be just as bold to put it to work when opportunities arise. And as soon as Buffett does that again, I'll be the first to let you guys know. So if you have enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe, press the little notification bell next to it so you can stay up to date on all of our latest videos, and of course, absolutely destroy that like button. There is no doubt it is the most effective and efficient way that you can support this channel. Anyway, guys, thanks again for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.